What is happening? This is Matty Mills, and this is another episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. And today, I just want to tell a quick story actually about a merchant I was talking with today. And this guy has a product, and he can't find customers for his product, unfortunately. And so he lives in the United States. I believe he lived in Texas, and specifically, he's selling women's swimwear. And he can't find people that can actually buy his product, and he was getting super frustrated, right? And he's like, man, I've spent all this money. My wife is mad at me because I invested in this, and I spent all this money setting up and all this time setting up my store, and I just can't get the sales, and I don't really know how to sell the product. And I just kept asking him more questions, getting more information, really just prodding and trying to find out how he got into this. And I was like, okay, like, why did you get into selling women's swimwear? And he's just like, oh, it's a very good selling product. I see it all over the place. It's a necessity. Women will always want it when they go on vacation. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like why'd you get into that? And he's like, well, I just really thought that it's something I'm interested in. Like, my wife liked that stuff, so I bought her some originally, and she likes certain designs. So that's why I really invested all this money into this specific product line. And I'm like, okay, cool. And at the same time, he doesn't really necessarily know how to make sales. He doesn't really know anything about online marketing. He doesn't really know much about paid advertising or getting organic traffic or really just building a following. And I was giving him some tips and how to build an email list and stuff like that. And one of my big questions that I always ask him, or that I asked him and I always ask myself and other entrepreneurs is, who do you want to serve? And this is the biggest question. Before you get into any sort of business, before you do anything in life, really, you have to just ask, like, who do you want to serve? And this is crucial, right? It's like, for me, for example, I'm sort of getting into the digital marketing, consulting, and funnel building business. And for me, I'm like, okay, who do I want to serve? And for me, it's like, I want to serve men and women, probably between the ages of 25 and 40, maybe 45, that already have a business set up, that are already making 5 figures or more, that have previously done sports. For the men, they're family men. They have certain views and political views. Like, they're not too liberal, they're not too conservative. They're sort of in the middle. They're very open-minded. They're very passionate about what they do. They have to have a certain energy and intensity that they bring to the table. And for the women, it's the same thing. Like, they might have families, and they really just have to have certain values that go with the values that I have myself. Like, for the women, for example, like, maybe they want to have kids down the line, or they already have kids, or they're thinking about kids and they want to do it to support their family. Like, these are people where I'm like, okay, those values resonate with me. So these are really the type of people that I want to work with. And the biggest mistake people make is they just go out and they spend all this time finding some awesome product, and they just don't understand that once they create these products and they don't know who their customer base is going to be. They just sort of make these products, and then after, like, they just try and sell it to everyone. And there's 2 really quick quotes that I want to share. One of them is from Seth Godin, and man, when I heard this about 2 years ago, it just really resonated with me pretty deeply. And it's, don't find customers for your products, find products for your customers. And it's such a good quote, right? It just explains everything so clearly. And I'm sure even hearing this, you can understand what I mean by that. And it's pretty straightforward. It goes along with what I'm saying with. And other marketers talk a lot about this, right? They talk about finding out what niche you're in, finding what your market is about by doing some market research and figuring out what your customer avatar is, finding out more about them, finding the demographics of who they are. And you can do this. You generally want to do this before you get started, right? Like, you want to figure out, okay, when you're going into a niche, you want to find out who's already buying in that niche, what sort of products they're buying, and you want to find out about those customers. So maybe you find out about the customers, and you want to find out what age they are. You want to find out what their location is. You want to find out if they're men or women in that specific niche. You want to find out who all the competitors are in that niche. And you want to know a lot about these these customers that you're going to have, because these are going to be the people that you want to serve. And a lot of people make the mistake when they get into business and just entrepreneurship that they're like, okay, I just want to go out in there and make all this money, and I want to drive a dope Lamborghini, and I want to live in a mansion. And for me, that never really resonated with me. Like, I got into business because, quite frankly, I just wanted to serve people, and I wanted to bring value to people, and I wanted to make the world a better place, which I really feel is the main thing that you need to do when it comes to being an entrepreneur and getting into business for yourself. And There's another quote as well from Tony Robbins that he says, and it's very similar to the Seth Godin quote, but it goes, what is it again? Entrepreneurs that focus on their products never build big businesses, and entrepreneurs that focus on their customers do build big businesses. And it's so true, man. When you just have that customer and that client-centric model set up where you just focus on bringing more value to your customers and finding stuff that they want, you can just go as far as you want in your business. You can just ask them exactly what they want, and they'll tell you what they want, because I'm sure they have problems. They're gonna talk about their complaints and their grievances and their frustrations in their lives, and you can be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to go out and create something similar or exactly what you want. And then when you actually go to them with that thing, they're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. And they end up buying it from you. So if you're thinking about starting a business or you're already in business, like maybe you need to get into a different business because you've created a product that people aren't necessarily buying. And look, it might take a few tries at first, to be honest, but if you ask the customers in a specific niche what they want and they tell you and you build it for them, they're totally going to buy your product as long as it's exactly what they wanted. And this is the biggest thing that I've always talked about, man. It's like, who do you want to serve? Like, you have to ask yourself that when you're getting into business. Who do you want to serve? And one tip I would recommend is write this down. Make a T-chart of who you want to serve, who you don't want to serve, and then that way you can find out who are the sort of people that you want to serve. And then you can go find those people, see where they congregate, ask them what they want, and then create the product that they want, and they're going to be very happy, and you will make tons and tons of money if that is what you want to do. But like I said, you should probably just be setting up your business based on actually helping people. So I hope that brought a lot of value today. Anyways, you can see I'm probably being blinded right now by the sun as it sets on this sub-day evening. So like I said, you just need to focus on who you want to serve, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great evening.